Okay. Yeah, good day. Dr. Muda, are you there?
Yes.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. I think
Good afternoon.
we are okay. People are just joining. We are 10 in numbers now. Okay, let me make it free so that we can easily join. Ask. Okay, can you hear me all? Can everyone hear me?
Yes, loud and
Okay, that's good. That's good. I think it's high time we got started. Is another exciting episode of our webinar today. This is Iamesep webinar that usually holds every month. Usually before it was last Mondays, but these days we've changed it to last Wednesdays of the month. Iamesep is advancement, is initiative for advancement in mining, earth sciences, and environmental protection. We are non-governmental organization that are made of great professionals in our midst, the scientists, miners, engineers that are actually focused to foster knowledge and awareness about Nigerian geology and the mineral resources, what we have. And we are also interested in various stakeholders who are actually involved in this industry, coming together, students, educators, investors, entrepreneurs, coming together to actually make things work for us in this industry. So this is who we are, and we've been on this for over 3 years now, and we are growing. And Iamesep also has given birth to another group that are actually much interested in mineral advocacy, which is called IMAG. And in IMAG group now, we're over 400 in numbers, and we are still growing. So I think this is a milestone so far. Today, we will be embarking on an interesting topic again, once again. Today on it's going to be on Barite. And we've actually looked around us to bring one of the best hands that we have in this country that have been dealing with this. Today, we'll be also looking at the strategies for curtailing barite importation. We're looking at mitigating the economic losses through sustainable solutions. And before we go further, I will actually invite one of our own, Dr. Amuda is also here, to just maybe give us a minute opening remark before we actually take the business of the day. So the platform is yours. Can you?
Okay.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Hebu Chief Executive, Dr. Mrs. Salau, ladies and gentlemen. You're welcome to today's webinar being hosted by Iamesep, and it's a great pleasure of mine that we gather here once again, being last Wednesday of the month, like the moderator has said. We do this every last Wednesday of the month, 12 p.m. Today, our topic of focus will be on the strategy for curtailing ongoing barite importation, mitigating economic losses through sustainable solution. So as we navigate the complexities of this issue, we are fortunate to be to have in our midst esteemed experts that will share their insights on this topic. So I Patrick on topic, and also Mr. Tayo Ajani will also be a discussant. And just like he has started talking, as you can all see, that will facilitate this discussion is our able moderator, Mr. Gideon. And so I extend gratitude to all of you that took time to be part of this webinar. And I like to make you know that it will be a very exciting experience. So without much ado, I will hand over to the moderator to introduce Mr. Patrick to start the discussion. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for that wonderful remark. Before now, I think Nigeria has we've actually had a very great Barite has been a very big issue in terms of supply, and thank God today I think there are a lot of things that are actually coming up as regards to Barites. Today it is with a great pleasure that I welcome everybody on this webinar on the strategies for curtailing Barite importation, trying to mitigate the economic losses through finding sustainable solutions. We are actually being confronted with a critical issue that resonates not only within the mining industry, but also across the broader economic landscapes of this industry. The importation of barite in Nigeria, despite the Nigerians' abundance reserve, underscores a significant challenge that requires urgent attention and a kind of a concerted effort from all stakeholders. So I think so I think that has been a very great issues over the years. And recent reports, some of the reports that indicate that Nigeria imports more than 75,000 metric tons of barite annually. And I knew when barite was about 25,000, 15,000 naira, rise to up to 30, 40, 50, 60. I don't even know what it takes right now in terms of naira. So if we are importing over 100 to 150,000 metric tons, as the case may be, this important dependency not only drains foreign exchange reserve, but also stunts the growth potential for our local industry, depriving countless communities and individuals, professionals of much needed socio-economic opportunities. So today we'll embark on a journey of exploration, also collaboration and innovation as we delve into these multi-faceted dimensions of this pressing issue. So through insightful discussion, we're going to be exchanging ideas and collectively brainstorming. We'll also be aiming on major thing here will be to uncover any actionable strategies that we think collectively we think that will only reduce reliance on imports, but also pave way for something that will be sustainable and thriving, at least domestically in the barite industry. So that's why we've actually tried to bring in every expert, all the people that have actually been in the barite industry for a long time to look at this, because we know that barite is one of industrial minerals that are very, very important as a drilling fluid. And also it's also used in so many other productions of hardware and all that. But the most important thing, even in pharmaceuticals, the pure barite we have here, over 4.5, can actually be used. Where I've worked so far, I've worked in barite, extensively in barite, in Cross River, in so many places, Benue and all that. I've tested over 50 samples of barite. And in all that, home and abroad, I got over 4.2, in terms of quality. So I think barite, it's something that, it's something that that we can't just say it's a mineral that we're going to not be paying much attention. So with that, I won't wait much time. I will also try to make us understand the person that will be talking to us today. We'll have two of them. They've actually had some extensive experience in this industry. You know, we have our presenter today will be Patrick, and we'll have also our discussant, Tayo. Patrick is a well-known person in this industry. He's the managing director of and the CEO of Polyguard Investment Nigeria Limited. This company is a licensed mining company that have been specializing in barite, lead, and zinc ore with operation based in Benue State in Nigeria. I've paid visit, I've worked in that mine, I've done so many things in that location for several years. So I think I know this location very well. So in addition to his corporate role, Patrick also holds significant positions within industry associations. You know, he has also served as the National Publicity, or rather, he's serving currently as the National Publicity Secretary and Acting Secretary General of the Association of Miners and Processors of Barite, which is known as Iamesep. Furthermore, he is also the Vice President, Mines of Benue Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines, and Agriculture. So he's actually versatile in this industry. His leadership role within both his company and industry associations, I would say, underscore his commitment to advancement and development of mining sector in Nigeria. So particularly in exploration and processing of barite, lead, and zinc ore, I would say that Patrick Odiegu is the best person to actually, one of the best persons to actually speak on this topic. So with that, I want to make welcome of Patrick Odiegu to the platform to run this for the next 30 minutes. Then after that, Tayo will come in and take the other.
How much is 100? Huh? Huh? How much? Why is it?
I guess our moderator must have had some outage.
Oh no, can you hear me now? I think I just...
Yes.
Yeah, okay,
yes,
sorry for that.
now.
I think the network interrupted. So on that platform, on that note, I actually want to bring in Patrick to this platform for further discussion. So Patrick, the platform is yours. Are you sharing from there? Oh, okay, let me just bring up the presentation. Okay. Okay. Can you hear me? Okay, you can unmute yourself. I think you're mute.
All right. Good afternoon. Good morning. Hello, wherever you are tuning in from. Thank you so very much, Mr. Gideon Wafo. Am I audible? Hello, am I audible?
You are. Yes, you are. We can hear you. You are. You can go on.
Okay, awesome. Thank you very much. I want to sincerely appreciate this opportunity for us to deep dive into the mechanic of barite value chain sustainability. Before I will start this presentation, which basically we don't need to use slides, but it's good to formalize things. I want to take us into a little excursion. A couple of months ago, a news emerged from Saudi Arabia that 30% of their mineral stock are projected value of 2.5 trillion US dollar. I was expecting people to throw questions. How did you come to your reserve estimation? What kind of study did you carry out? Where is the data, as they normally throw? Everybody accepted this news, hook, line, and sinker. Were quite instructive. So let's put that one on one side. I was in Egypt for African Trade Fair. A gentleman walked up to our stand and felt our product, was bewildered. For a couple of minutes, he said nothing. He was just turning the product, squeezing it, and all that. Eventually, he asked a very critical question. Where is this thing from? I said, obviously, this is a Nigerian stand. You simply follow that every businesses that are here are all from Nigeria. So he said, are you telling me that this material that I'm seeing is from Nigeria? I said, yes, not only from Nigeria, it's actually from Benue State. So it was quite instructive. And then he asked a critical question that he mines barite in Egypt. His quality is nowhere near the quality of what he's seeing. So why is it that Nigeria is buying barite from him? So I couldn't insult ourselves by answering him that we have distortion in our value chain. But here we are. Okay, to the main topic of today, we want to look at ways that we can have a deep dive understanding and sustainable ways we can start mitigating the negative impact of allowing people to take food from our table. Because that's basically what it boils down to. If you have a product that you don't have market for in your own country, and your country makes critical use of that same product, it simply means that your nation is denying you the opportunity to put food on your table. So this conversation is going to have these outliners. I'm not going to bore us in reading them. Go straight to the next page, please. In the executive summary, it's very simple. We are trying to make a critical case that barite importation shouldn't really be allowed, because during the administration of Sani Abacha, Nigeria was assumed to be a pariah state and was placed under embargo. All the barite that was used in the oil and gas industry in Nigeria and so many other complement industries were all sourced from Nigeria. So these are historical perspectives that we can use to interrogate what is going on, the carrying on of what is happening today, how we voluntarily allowing ourselves to be cheated, because that's what it is. If we have a product that can go to market and it's not going to market, and then somebody is bringing it and a lot of money is leaving our shores, it's an economic banditry. So the executive summary just witnessed the fact that it has been assumed that over $300 million are being siphoned out of our economy needlessly, when this money should be in our rural area, beautifying our environment. Next slide. I started off by a case of Saudi Arabia was interrogated in their resource valuation. Now, barite has always faced with this type of conundrum. We know that barite is available in Nigeria in so many locations, but the IOCs or the barite users in the oil and gas sector has continually made a case that we have not been able to prove that there is sustainability in the barite deposits. What does that mean? It simply means that they want to see that if they start using your barite, that it will always be available, say in the next short term, 2 to 3 years, medium term, 5 to 6, 7 years, long term, over 10 years. So with exploration data, I'm using this from our own asset. We have done about 4 boreholes. In those 4 boreholes, with trenching across the median, and then opening up the instrument 30 meters. This is where we need to use a bit of our common sense in our approach to science, because we cannot do science in isolation. Science must be made to have an interrogative common sense following it. If not, a fool and his money will get parted, while science is still holding an argument that you have not proved to me conclusively that this product is available. Meanwhile, practically, you are showing that this product is available. So there is no handshake between what you are proving practically in the field and what the science is accumulating as a data to reduce the efficacy of what you are saying. So what we've done here, we have been able to prove that this site alone, which is in line with what the objectivity of Saudi Arabia, less than 20% of barite deposit on this site, if we put it in a metric ton form, as per our specific gravity, we're looking at over 20 million metric ton. If we look at the whole generality of the site, we can beat our chest and say that all the barite we need in oil and gas in Nigeria can be supplied just from this site in the next 10 years. Now, these are raw data that I put it out, and I want it to be interrogated to its fullest. Because when you do drilling in a very nice spaced out drilling, and you use wireline log, and you take out the core, and you analyze those core, and then you're able to do your modeling. We've done the modeling, and we've seen, I said, hang on, we actually have barite. We actually have a stupendous amount of barite. So not only can we service what is used locally, we can actually take it outside and earn foreign exchange. Next slide. Now, I did mention that the pit has been opened up. Now, this pit that you are seeing is measuring 30 meters width. All the whitish stuff that you are seeing there are all barite. We start recovering barite here in less than 3 meters. And it's going down all the way to, we're still seeing barite at over 40 meters. So thickness, average thickness of what we've seen is above 22 meters thickness of barite. High-grade barite, 4.5. So it is unacceptable, completely unacceptable that somebody should still be telling us that barite value chain not being there because I have enough data to prove it. So on the issue of way forward, what is it that we need to do to now bring our value chain, our supply chain, to meet the deposit that we have all over the country? Because barite is out of this country. And the quality barite that is needed in oil and gas, from the analysis or the test carried out by Standard Organization of Nigeria, they have proven that 3.85 specific gravity can drill most in inland basin. And then they need about 4.1 So there is no conceivable reason anybody should be telling us there's no quality barite in Nigeria. I think we have taken that one out of the table. Next slide. Yes, we're looking at shocking state of affairs. We need to go back because as of 2010, the law was very clear. 60% of barite should be sourced locally. Now, what exactly do we do? Is it the horse or the cart? Because this is a question that we must ask. If you put the cart in front of the horse, will the cart drag the horse? Or are you going to yank the cart behind the horse, place it properly for the horse to drag the cart? This is what is going on in Nigeria. 40% ought to come if the 60% is not available. Now, if the system ignorantly just allow the IOCs through their own distortion to continue to make a case, which case they are making is, oh no, we don't deal with Barite. I'm so sorry, you deal with Barite because you are giving your contract to the oil servicing company, right? So that's your prerogative. If you have a contract on arrangement with federal government, NNPC, for you to be a production partner in the oil field, as a junior partner, you elect to be the production company. So being the production company, if you then outsource your production obligation to a third party, and then the third party goes ahead and outsource Barite supply to an oil servicing company, that oil servicing company is not really the arrangement as an IOC you have with oil servicing company. It's not our business. Our business is that you're bounded by Nigerian law to ensure that the Barite that is used by your agents, which are the oil servicing company, are sourced from Nigeria. And not only being seen to be sourced from Nigeria, you need to prove to us where you are sourcing those Barite, because we need to control and calculate that the 60% that the law predicated are being realized. So this distortion has been allowed to fester till this time. How did it get to fester? The IOCs, Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board, that is tasked with it of ensuring that Local Content Act sees the spirit and intent in a practical union. So if you now allow the distortion, which is, oh, we don't have quality Barite in Nigeria, or maybe the players in the sector are playing fiddle, which can be the case, but exception doesn't make the rule. We have to interrogate the system, starting from Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation Limited, Company Limited as they are now. We should place the interrogation table on themselves permanently, because they are into joint venture with the IOCs. So we're asking NNPCL, where is the 60% that is used in our various oil fields? That is our question. NNPCL need to answer that question, because they need to interrogate the IOCs, Chevron, Total, Shell, or any nomenclature they have. They need to be interrogated. Where are you getting your Barite? Now, if you have outsourced your production to the oil servicing company, you need to reduce that question to the oil servicing company. Where are you getting those Barite? Now, if it's the Barite processing company, we need to ask them clear questions. Which mine are you getting those Barite from? So that we can go and investigate and verify that the 60% that the law predicated are being sourced from Nigeria. This has economic impact, because we are now complaining that the dollar is not available. We are complaining about unemployment to the extent that Nigerians, blessed people, are seeing there is no food for them to eat. It's an abomination. It's an abomination. We shouldn't allow it to continue. Barite alone, in our own critical understanding, can introduce more than $1 billion into our national economy. I'm talking about United States dollar. I'm not talking about Naira here, right? Even if they take Naira to 5,000 Naira, the only thing that will solve the problem is through production, inflows of foreign currency. That will solve the problem. So we are looking at this having a critical economic impact, and the interrogation can go to the highest office. Our minister stand also interrogated, because he has the responsibility to ensure that Barite licensed miners are working, because that's what it is. Ministry of Mines and Steel Development, right? Now that the nomenclature have changed, the Ministry of Solid Mineral, is still development. So that development, they are not putting it there by fancy. They are putting it to interrogate these activities in a key performance indicators, as you have come to the fora. Because when the former minister launched Barite, I represented our association in that launch in Port Harcourt. On that day, I pulled him up and I said, sir, this thing that we are doing today, can you explain to me what we are doing? He said that, that is to show government willingness for the value chain to come to effect. And I said, no, it shouldn't be about government willingness. It should be about practical steps that has been well identified that will feed into the value chain. I don't think that Barite value chain is working. So why are we launching Nigerian made in Nigerian Barite? That is so going to 2 years since that launch. We are still don't have value chain. So we need to be careful with our civil and public servants. They may just be doing their job. And their job, if it's not interrogated properly, it can lead us to where we are today, where a certain information has gone out to the world that Nigeria have Barite. Meanwhile, Barite miners are not at site. They are not working. We are not being deliberate in what we do. There's activity that we are using to make things and make sure that issue about the friction in the value chain are completely solved. We can't be solving every problem every year. The problem is still there. Somewhere along the line, we must say that this problem has been solved. And that's what we want to do to Barite. And we don't want to do it to Barite in next 5 years. We want to do it to Barite today, tomorrow, and next month. By the end of this year, we want to see a pipeline that we are supplying 100% of Barite needs in Nigeria. We want to see a clear pipeline that will funnel export of Barite outside the shores of this country. And I think we can do that. Next slide, please. So, one of the things that have always been interesting about our country is this issue about potential. We always talk in potential. Nigerian youths are potential leaders of tomorrow. This is about potential. I want us to start killing this potential. Something happened to me when I saw the news about the demise of Herbert Wigwe of Access Bank and his family. He basically lost his family. What happened to me is that I start questioning myself. If I die now, what will be the legacy I will say that I've created? If we have been agitating for Barite for over 10 years and there's still no value chain, the realization that's supposed to come out of this has not been realized. The community is still looking dilapidated. The money, despite the fact that we have England asset, there is nothing that shows that there's good life here. And I said, look, we need to take a sharp turn. If it has to be 360 degrees, so be it. We can no longer talk of potential. We need to realize this potential, and we need to expand the potential, and we need to make sure that this potential speaks to the enormous viability of Nigerian lives. So we can clearly and categorically make a statement that we have Barite deposits. The records, as you were, about Barite deposit in Benue State, for example, is speaking to about 300,000 metric tons. It's actually carelessness. I would say it's carelessness on the part of our leaders. We cannot approach our resource development in a cavalier manner. We need to become more serious. We need to question things more deeply, more intently. Our site has over 20 million metric tons alone, on the mining list. So I know there are many other locations here in Benue State where there is Barite mine. In Nasarawa State, in Taraba State, Adamawa, Cross River, as has been posited. Zamfara, all the way to Zamfara, there is Barite deposit there. So how can we continue to speak in this manner? So we need to start changing things practically. Next slide, please. When we talk about mining today in the global value chain, we're not talking about ESG, environment, social and governance structure. Now, if environment works, the social is working, the community are cooperating with you, there's viability in their life, you can see that they are actually making progress, their life is improving. And then you look at the governance structure, and it's not working. It would distort the eco chain, the value chain, it would distort it. What you're seeing right there is, as of 2018, the former minister of Mines and Steel Development, as we were called at that time, former Governor Fayemi visited the site. He's right there inside the pit, looking at the deposit, buried, pristine buried. He saw the dump, buried dump. He made a policy statement, which were never implemented. Who caused him to order? The former minister. They put 1 billion naira into buried processing. Was that what was needed? We didn't know 4 companies that were selected by Nigerian content to process buried and supply. So we can question and interrogate the way decisions are taken. And most of these decisions are taken in the absence of buried miners being on the table. So they come for implementation, implementing what they don't even know what it is. So we need to be able to have a platform where we can put sometimes uncomfortable questions to answer, because we cannot continue the way we're going about things. We must make sure that we get results from anything that we're doing, because if not, we're wasting a lot of authentic time. So we believe that Barite, as it stands, the $300 million that is wasted annually can be kept into our economy. And not only that, we can actually have a system that can actually export Barite. Imagine the value chain that will be created if one site produces 10,000 metric tons of Barite. View that for a second. You will need about 300 trucks that will move the material to port, and so many other things that will come out of it. Many jobs that will be created. So we need to understand that anytime we are not allowing our value chain to come to expression, we are losing value, and we cannot continue to lose these values. He's looking at the Barite dump, seeing clearly that the quality of the Barite is more than 4.3. We've analyzed this Barite in Canada, they're giving 4.6. So what we are saying is that we can actually reduce our quality considerably and supply 4.3. Now, we need to interrogate the manner in which Barite is sold. I asked a question to one of the companies that were selected by Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board. A very direct question. What are your systems for receiving Barite? What is the quantum of Barite you received since last year? What is the volume of Barite you required in 1 year? Which company is going to carry out the analysis? Because you cannot be a judge and a jury in your own case. They're expecting Barite miners to bring the Barite to their premises, and they will be the one that will weigh the product. We don't know their calibration of their equipment. They will equally be the one that will actually go into their own lab to take the analysis, the sample analysis, right? And they will tell you the price they will pay for a product. They don't know the cost of production. So to an average Barite miner, you are completely on your own. You are so exposed to the elements. There is no way a system can be continued, or you can try. So we need to be able to bring an ecosystem that will interrogate this thing and bring out everybody to the table and solve this problem finally. We're looking at processing capacity. Like I did mention, one of the companies actually Delta Prospector. What is the condition of Delta Prospector? Are they working? We interrogate this thing. Where are the KPIs? Are you just going to make pronouncement and go to bed? Are you going to interrogate that system? And if it's not working, you bring an alternative that is going to make it work. Let's look at what is happening in cement today. How many Nigerians are understanding that cement value chain starts with limestone? What are the journey that has made limestone to wet the market today? All the cement that is used in Nigeria produced locally, to the extent that even some of them are exporting cement. We can do the same thing on Barite. It's about economics, nothing more. It's not about noise making. We are talking about how do we create value in our national economy so we can solve the critical problem, creating employment and also reducing insecurity. Next slide, please. Now, this is what I was talking about. On the right-hand side, you see the minister and the permanent secretary and their consultants launching what is not available. So in a normal client, they should be called to question. Why is it that you've launched something and you have not followed through to make sure that the value chain are complementary? You do a test run and you show how those test run works. From which mind do you pick it from? How about logistics? How does that work? Right? What are the components of taxes? How many jobs can be created? These are how to solve problems. You can't solve problem and the problem is still on the table. It's only a madman that does the same thing time and time again and expect a different type of result. So we want to throw up this open. I must say this. A couple of days ago, I had a meeting with the UNIDO. In that meeting, it's in line with finding solutions to these perennial issues. Can we continue to talk about a problem that can be solved? That we can see other nations, smaller nations solving them? What give Morocco or Egypt any level of modicum of confidence that they can be throwing into Nigeria what we can actually take to other nations, right? It's all economic. They are taking Barite to US. Morocco takes over 1 million metric ton of Barite to US. So how can we continue to allow them to have the opportunity they are having? Now, somebody will say that, okay, our minds are not developed. What is development? Development is about value chain creation. If you have given me the market and the market is sustainable, there is no amount of development that you will not see. The quality that we can put on the table can be even superior to what is available in UK, what is available in the United States. What part of the United States, what exactly are they doing that we cannot do even better? But we are not giving ourselves the opportunity to compete. If you don't have the market, let's be stunted, because the only way you can make a critical case is that you have a market, and in that market, in the order that is given to you, the terms of trade is well and clearly captured. Number one, what is the quantity that the industry requires? What is the quality that is required? And what is the size? Assuming that you need to be a processed barite, what is the grain size? So that you need to put all this in an equilibrium. When that happens, you will be able to have a processing system that is similar to what you can obtain in China and elsewhere. Nobody should tell me that these guys are superior than us, because they are not. An Indian man can come here and form a privilege of being a Caucasian, and we worship them and follow them up and down. Some of us are not going to do this. It's not overconfidence. We are saying that whatever they can do, we can do it far, far better. All we are saying, let's give ourselves a fair fighting chance. Let's demystify this issue about North-South dichotomy. North-South that I mean now is the Western Hemisphere against the Southern Hemisphere. For over time, we've allowed the best of what we have not to come to full expression. When we talk of oil and gas, is oil and gas really the only market for barite? No, it's not. Barite can be used in construction. There's a lot of bridges that are constructed in Nigeria every year. I bet you that most of those construction, they're using barite, and they're all imported barite. All the paint industry, all the coating companies in Nigeria, they're all using barite. Where are they getting those barite? All imported. How can we continue like this? If we continue like this, I don't think we can be able to shake hands with the rest of the world, because at least the argument is that most of the barite deposits are in the rural area. So if it's in a rural area, we can have a very complete development, because if the rural development is certain, seeing our young men running the street with bike as a means of transportation is because of this distortion we are seeing in our Iamesep has the capacity to bring solution. We should walk those talk, make the value chain available. And actually, this is business. If you solve the problem, if you bring solution that will solve the problem and will make money, and everybody will share into this, because nobody is going to go to heaven with anything in their pocket. I think I should leave it here for now. Thank you so very much.
Oh, Patrick, thank you for that. I would say thank you for that interesting presentation. I've known you to be very adamant when it comes to this. A lot of things must work. I think I have very critical question, which I'm not going to do now. We're going to go into the second phase. We'll bring in Tayo. Tayo is also one of the persons that I know that is experienced, that I've seen a lot of issues in this. And the Tayo, Tayo, are you there? Okay, before I bring up Tayo, let me just say, introduce him a bit. You know, Tayo has been there for a very long time in this industry. And I've worked, I think he's also worked somewhere in Benue State. He's a seasoned professional with over 30 years of industry experience in mining. And he's actively participated in numerous environmental impact and resettlement actions plan, you know, both as a team member and as a consultant. He has also served as a consultant to various mining projects and is particularly focused on ASM and development of sustainable community within the sector. Currently, Tayo holds key positions as the CEO of TOG Brothers Limited and also serves as a director for QDO Enterprises and Source King Limited. So he has been actively involved in mining various minerals such as tantalite, barite, Jameson lead zinc, and other stratified deposits. In terms of academics, I have actually authored so many papers on topics which also include the impact of mining activities on farm size and practices in mining communities in such Goma local government, which is one of the areas, that's why I brought him in, which is one of the areas that actually host barites in the lower Benue Trough. And that is actually where Polyguard Mine is also located. So Tayo is a member of also some esteemed organizations such as Nigeria Environmental Society, the Nigeria Institute of Management, and the Association of Nigeria Geographers. So he has a diverse experience and active involvement in both industry, academic, also circuit. So this reflects his commitment to the sustainable development of mining sector and also the impact. So I think, Tayo, if you're available right now, I will want to start by bringing in, right now I'll unmute you. Unmute yourself. I want to start by some major critical questions I think I have when it comes to barite supply chain. You know, because the entire thing we are talking about now is all about barite supply chain, the issues and distortions we have. Tayo, are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Gideon. Now, the first thing I want you to actually talk about, you have only 5 minutes to deal with all these the question I'm going to ask you. So the first thing I want you to talk about is the current challenges in the domestic supply chain, which I'm going to still go back to Patrick on some certain issues. On this supply chain of barite in Nigeria, how can we improve the efficiency and the reliability of barite supply, at least to meet the domestic demands?
Well, thank you very much, Gideon, and everybody. First and foremost, let me first of all tell us that myth or that story that we don't have enough barite, it's a lie. I have mined barite in Taraba, I've mined barite in Nasarawa, I've mined barite in Gombe, I've mined barite in Fire in Plateau State. There is more than enough barite, and they are good quality. So thank you very much, Patrick, for the presentation. Now, the challenges are: one is the challenge of access to machinery. That's the first thing. Most of them are done quickly, and once rain starts, it becomes a challenge. Two is the issue of accessibility, transport, how to access the mine site. Like I told you, this is my mother. I cut my teeth in mining from barite, and I've mined almost everywhere that barite is mentioned in Nigeria, with all humility. So I'm not talking to you from what I read. I'm talking to what I know. So there's the issue of equipment, access to equipment, which can be leased, which can be this cooperative arrangement. There's also issue of access to infrastructure, making access to the site. There's also the issue of basic geo information. Many of deposits, they are trace deposits. You go just, I mean, I've wasted money before, somewhere in Benue State, in Lace in particular. We thought we had the deposit, we scraped it, and then there was nothing there again. Even though maybe if we had gone deeper, we could get more barite than nothing. Now, I think I mentioned 3, because you guys have like pinned me to 5 minutes, so I'm trying to rush it up. 4 is the issue of appropriate policies. Now, Patrick mentioned something, whether it's Beroy, it's Makoba, it's the one in oil camp. The parties of the buyer carries the sample. It does the testing. It gives you its result and its price. That's a no-no. That must change. And then all this buy center could be more, could be useful in this wise. Before you take your barite out, they test it. You have your samples, you have your results, which must not be different too much from what they get. Patrick also mentioned the issue of waiting. I mean, how do we know how you have manipulated your calibration? The error of that you cannot tamper with digital skills over. It's all giggle. Whatever program you program it, you can program it to cut 2-3 tons up. So it's all of that. Then another issue is the issue of policies. There's always the issue of policies to myself. Patrick told you those things. We've had more than 5, 6, 7 policies on barite. They will ban, they will import. The importers will go behind, they will bribe, they will a lot of things. And once they start to import, they will make sure that your own local barite does not pass, because they use it to funnel money out. You can hold me accountable. You people that remember that I'm not flippant, they use it to self money, so they will price for it to be imported. We don't have any business importing barite. So those are not of challenges. So proper policies, access to finance, access to capital, access to basic geological data, which can be done through mining essential services. Bring them down. Let's have a rough idea of the quantity deposit. Is it what, like I always tell us, it's not a deposit you can mine. So those are the things that I think can help us. And then making the environment favorable. Let there be policy consistency. All this summer sort of policy will not work. So those are in a nutshell. I don't know whether I've answered you, Gideon.
Okay. Thank you, Terry. I think you've done a lot of justice to that, but I need you to personally. I begin most of the time I ask this question: why do you think that we prefer to import rather than looking at the local way? Why do you think it's
one, let me first tell you the basic things. Let us leave the issue of whether they use it for money, because we are lazy, because we don't want to pay the price, because we don't want to do the things that other countries. The Norway, the Morocco that they import from, Norway, Morocco have developed mining industry, period, especially. Now let me bring this down to what we can understand. Now, when you make all these things that I suggested available, they will produce barite for you. We can even do a bit of jigging and separation on the site to remove gang materials and impurities. This will help us to get the SG they want. There is no barite, even the ones in Alaushi Kiana that they said is low, even the one in Alaushi Kiana that they said is low, can be jigged and processed to get all results. You understand? See, when you remove impurity and other things, you certainly will jack it up. So because their major grounds is the SG, which is a lie. Now, what they bring from outside, you hardly see boulders. Why? Because they've broken it down, they separate some things, and when they need to up the SG, they import hematite. Right there in our presence in MI, they do that and mix it up. So those are the one, we are lazy to pay the price. That's one. Two is the issue, like I told you, Gideon, and all the people that are on this platform. It is all the Nigerian thing. What is in it? When they import, there's access to forex. There is no guarantee that it's exactly how much money they are given to export that they used to export. Three, they can build in costs that are not existing. It is all about the selfishness of the average Nigerian. They can say importers, but even the foreigners, it's with the collaboration of Nigerians. So those are the two major reasons. And I think are hindrances that make it look like it's better for us. They say it's cheaper. It can be cheaper, but don't forget, in those places, the government subsidizes equipment, government subsidizes so many things. So when you are competing with a people that government subsidizes for them, there's no way it will be cheaper. So make the same environment conducive for us and give us the challenge. We will surpass the expectation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Before you go, before I go back to Patrick, and actually open the discussion to the platform for some other people to actually contribute. I want you to finally make a final statement on this in terms of investment and financing. You know, what are the investment opportunity do you think exists? You know,
Well,
in this domestic beverage sector, and how can investors be you know, that kind of thing, incentivized to invest in local production facilities? Because like what you just said now, a lot of people that are actually the foreign the countries like Morocco and all Egypt and all that seem they have the backup of their government in terms of subsidizing and all that. So what do you think that can be a kind of incentive for some of the investors to come in? Or we'll talk about what are the financing options that are available for this kind of thing, for the supply chain to be free.
Let me first tell you something now. There are no favorable financing options now. Just like Patrick said, the same problem we're having. Our banks like to import fertilizer from Portugal. The things are fast. They don't want to take risk. So as it is now, we don't have any favorable conducive environment to make all these things. I mean, to incentivize investors. But these are the things I think we can do. First, let us have policy stability. Now, when your policies are not stable, nobody will invest in uncertainty. Let us know that there will be, for example, there will be gradual reduction in quota for import. For example, 60%, some cases now, if it is gradual, and we have a 5-10 years gap, that whatever happens, the market is there. Our crude oil will not come out with that Barite. Apart from the other things, all the special paints, adhesives, and other functions. But even the oil industry is more than enough. So when the police are there, when there's assurance that there's secured market, because there's no policy sort, you will not say today ban, tomorrow import. That's the first thing. So the investor is sure. So two, let us have geodata. Nobody wants to invest in deposits that are shallow or what I call trace deposits. So when you have those two things, and then sometimes governments will have to compel. Government must compel the IOCs and the drilling companies to buy. So, and then creating conducive environment through policies and monitoring. It's not to the police, to monitor and enforce. So those are areas that I think we can make. And see, once you do that, and the investor is show off its returns, they will put. Then they can also try to incentivize the banks. And then sometimes when you put all these things in place, and the banks still want to back out, you can even make it like subtle, compulsion, because it's a win-win. If we do it right, there's nothing that makes us not to have the Morocco or the Norway experience if we do it right.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you so much for that wonderful contribution of yours. Right now, I think you've actually touched one of the areas that I actually wanted to talk about, because I know that you are technical and you are also in the field. The issue of data, I know you've actually brought in, because when I've actually done some work on Barite within the lower Benue Trough, and I understood certain things might be also an issue which we need to solve, which is the issue of data. I think the only well-organized drilling that have been actually professionally done, was done by NGSA in Azara area. And that was actually when some interesting numbers of Barite were actually proven. But in terms of the Barites also the Barite of Benue State, there are been some skeletal drilling also. And Cross River, I think Cross River has shown some enormous prospects when it comes to Barite, you know. So at least I understand the geology of Cross River to say, yes, I think we have what it takes to actually go in to make sure that this thing works for us. Anyway, let me not just go further. I'm seeing a lot of some hands. What we need to do now is we'll just take some first contribution And we'll now go back to questions to Patrick. I think some of these contributions are coming from the platform. So right now, I will want to, I will invite, I think I'm seeing some hands here. Okay, first of all, Enoch, please, can you unmute yourself and make your contribution?
Okay, thank you so much, Gideon, and then Patrick and Tayo for your wonderful contributions and the moderation. But permit me, I want to play the devil's advocate in this discussion, okay, because I've had significant exposure to the drilling. Because of Barite, I started my mind.
Okay, it seems we've lost Enoch there. Are you there? Okay, while waiting for him, we can actually switch to Shaibu. Shaibu, please, if you are there, please, can you come up with your contributions?
Yes, good afternoon, everyone.
Good.
And good afternoon.
Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone.
We can hear you. We can hear you. Go on.
Thank you for having me here. I think my first contribution is contribution and is a kind of a question. This issue of barite and other related mineral, but barite to be precise, do we even have proven reserve of barite in Nigeria? Or of any area in Nigeria that the reserve is proven that we can defend it anywhere, we are sure of this reserve? I think we don't have. So okay. I think, yes, I think for we to get this straight in the value chain, every country that they succeeded in any mineral business, I think is started by their own homework with their own primary objective first. We need to have a proven reserve of, let's say, barite. What? Because if foreign investor come, for him to invest, he need to know what is he investing on. We have the Nigerian Geological Survey, the NGSA, and we have the universities. I don't know how far what the NGSA has been doing for all this long, and even the university, I think they need funding from the government. The geology student, you go to the geosciences department, they are left to their parents and the school. And this map they are producing, the country uses the map, the state uses the map. So I think we need to work on our proven reserve first. If we are, I'm from Nasarawa State, our local government to be precise. I'm from Wuse Azara development area where you mentioned. So there is a barite in my area, they mine barite, but I do not come across anything like a proven reserve. It's just people mine their barite after they left the pit, abandoned, people fall inside the pit, and it's been a household for mosquito, causing so many environmental issues. So this is my first contribution.
Okay, thank you. Before I'll go back to other people contributing to this, I think whether you're asking a question or a contribution, I know as of my last update in January 2022, Nigeria, I know, has a proven reserve of barite according to NGSA, and that of our Department of Petroleum and Resources, that is the DPR. They were estimated over something like 7.5 million metric tons of barite, which they've gathered across the nations, including the Benue State, the Cross River, the Nasarawa, the Bauchi, and other. You understand? So I think in not only that, they've done a lot of some drilling also in Azara area. So in terms of the barite, I think there have been some data existing in the public space that have been done by Nigeria Geological Survey Agency on that regard. And there are a lot of other reserves that are now actually been opened up, you know. So that is to what I know, to the best of my knowledge. So let's just go back to Enoch. I think he's back online now. Enoch, okay, you can unmute yourself.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay, go on. We are listening. Enoch, are you there? We are listening. Okay, if you're not there, Patrick, please.
No, I'm here. I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you.
Okay, yes. So I said, so for the barite, now the problem we normally have when I was working with the drilling company is that the Nigerian barite is always contaminated.
Yeah.
Now, what barite is used for in the drilling well It is used to counteract subsurface pressure. You know, you're drilling down very deep strata. So the overburden pressure, the formation pressure is you're going through different formations. And so there's great formation pressure that results in a blowout. So you use barite to counteract that. So it's part of the drilling fluid mixture. It is used to add density to the drilling mode to counteract subsurface pressure. Now, but when the barite is contaminated, you have, that is mainly sand. You have, then your log readings becomes faulty. Maybe you're drilling through shales, but you're getting so much sand in the cuttings, giving you as if you're in a sandstone area. So it makes interpretation very difficult. That is why mud companies are wary of Nigerian barite. That's one of the reasons. And then the two factors we have to think about in Nigerian barite consumption is, number one, the drilling activities in the oil industry. You know, there was a time around 2014, 2015, 2016, when there was this economic downturn that there was practically no drilling activity taking place in terms of exploration wells and all. And then the barite is used for drilling process. So if there's no drilling taking place in the country, then there's limited market. So sometimes there's a dull in the marketing of barite. But right now that we are trying to get back to 2 million barrels of production, there's a policy in the oil industry that at least we need up to 420 something wells to be on stream. So that creates a market, which I think this our program is very timely for. So for us to be consistent, for us to have a play, and then the second reason, because at first, as the speaker said, Patrick said, barite was banned when Delta prospectors and all those came in on play. Barite was banned from importation. Importation was banned, but different LPOs were consistently given by drilling companies, mud companies, to local suppliers, and they all failed. And these are the evidences, because I was part of the process, these are the evidences they take back to the government and say, see you are banning us from using these things. We are giving LPOs, they are not being serviced. They cannot meet up the demand. You not stop, you not ground the industry, then they have to import. So I'm just trying to play the devil's advocate. Why? It's not as if somebody is trying to sabotage. No, there's the opportunity that has been given severally. Sometimes even finances were given. And then everybody just, Nigerian factors now. So the supply, consistent supply, has to be guaranteed when it is being needed. Now, the issue is, when the market is dull, you will not want to go to your site to mine. When there's market now, you will want to know how long can it sustain my mining activities? I'll go back to the site. So those are the kind of things that affects the barite production. And it's sad, but it is one of the things we must face. Bad market, the market is limited, mostly drilling.
Okay.
And then
no, I'm not trying to cut you short. I'm not trying to cut you. Yeah. I'm not trying to cut you, but I need you to, this is very critical here. There is something you made mention of, which I think is a quality issue. And at the quality issue, do you have an idea of the contaminants of Nigerian barites? Do you have an idea of the contaminants?
Yes, I said.
And do you think the processing can take care of that?
Yes, like Mr. Tayo was talking about jigging, that is the key. How many sites have jigs? How many sites wash their barites to remove sand? Because if you just take your barites to a milling company and they mill with all the sand, but that sand has to be removed. That is the number one issue of Nigerian barite, the sand. SG from 3.8 is okay. It can be used, but when there is sand contaminant, it disturbs the logs. So when your feedback, when you're getting sand from your well data, and then you're not in the sand area, it messes up your whole logging system.
Okay, that's good. Thank you. You know why I asked you this question? This is very important for me because I wish one of my directors I worked before is actually present in this platform, because I was one of the group that actually installed a processing plant that was capable of giving out how many? I've forgotten, about 26 tons per hour plant for barite in Daudu, Benue State, and we have about 6 jigs, and it comes with about 6 jigs. It had a mill, 2 double mill for the barite, But the issue of insecurity came very heavily that it distorted the entire arrangement until date. That plant has never actually seen and has actually done anything. So I think if the sand is the only issue, it's just an easy thing to solve. Having a jig having a jig and shaking table can actually solve that kind of issue.
Exactly, I agree with you 100%.
You have a washing plant, From the washing, you go to the jigs, go to the shaking table, and it goes to the dryer, and then you now go to the milling for the final movement. But most of the plants do not actually come in with jigs and shaking table. So it's a gravitational process to actually solve the issue of sand in that.
That is.
I wouldn't say, I think it's chemical, something that, each of chemical contaminations are more serious. Very much.
No, we don't have chemical. No, there are no chemical. No, there'll be no, actually, Nigerian Barite is one of the best Barites.
Yeah.
Really. Because when you have some with even higher SGs than the 4.2, that hardly the imported one it gets to. So we can have 4.3, 4.5. They get good Barites, but you hardly have a chemical contaminants, except there is maybe some substitution of strontium inside the mix. I know, but it's not a big deal. You know, and then the main issue with Nigerian Barite is just sand. If we can clean it, which is that's why Tayo said we're lazy. But if there can be a standard process, and then we can clean the Barites, mill it, nobody will want to import. Nobody will want to import.
Okay, thank you. I think Enoch, you need to stand by. Yeah, a lot of things you're going to be solving for us. Stand by. Let's just go back to. I'm seeing, I want to attend to some other people and also go out because I want to go back to Patrick again before Olubenga Peters. There's a hand I've been seeing here was Infinity Hot. I don't know, I'm not seeing the name, but I will give you, you are on mute, you can unmute yourself. Hot 12 play. You can unmute yourself. Okay, if it's not coming up, Olubenga, please, you can actually unmute yourself and make a contribution. Olubenga, are you there? You can unmute yourself. Can you hear me? You're on mute. I'm seeing about 2 hands. Okay, if they can't unmute themselves, I don't know whether they are still available or they are not hearing me. I'll go back to Patrick. Okay, Patrick, are you there? Can you hear me?
Hello, yes, sorry about the delay in unmuting myself. Can I still speak or should I mute again?
Okay, who is speaking now? What's the name?
This is Olubenga right now. Okay,
Olubenga, okay, you can. Okay.
Yeah, so I want to appreciate the people that have spoken, Mr. Patrick, Mr. Tayo, Enoch, Shoaib. I really appreciate the insight they brought to this. But one thing I on my own part I identify is the aspect of financing. Yes, we have regulation, but to really push through and all these getting the purest form of Barites that the oil industry needs, the various industry needs. I think I think would be the main solution is financing. And I think there should be like an industry an industry built business case for Barites. You understand, sir? To mix, for example, now in the agricultural sector, we know that they have Bank of Agriculture, and that bank, if what they are doing really works right now, is also finance everything that has to do with agriculture. So if there's a financing vehicle that focuses on the solid minerals, whether it's Barite or any other minerals, I think it's going to go in a long way. Then people who have business interests with regard to any solid mineral, be Barite or any other, we can really take the advantage of available financing and do what we need to do to get to where what we are discussing today. So this is my own contribution, but I think maybe the speakers can throw more light on that.
Okay, that's good. Thank you, Peters, for that wonderful contribution. I believe that financing is also still an option. Okay, I'll go back to the other person by Infinix Hot 12. Are you there? Can you hear me? Okay, Patrick, please. Are you there? Okay, if Patrick, are you there? Okay, it seems, okay, let me go back. Okay. I've been calling you all this while. Unmute yourself. Okay.
Hey, it is now that you gave me the green light. You can't call me on the light when there's no light. All right.
Okay. Okay.
Actually, I've been listening to every contributors, especially Enoch. I want to knock Enoch because Enoch said something that I really need to come with a sledgehammer. You see, it's not okay for us to throw up a red herring. Sand. What is sand? We need to become more professional in our approach. What do I mean by this? It's very simple. You say that you gave contract to various miners that were not able to perform. Which type of contract did you give them? Right? Let's reduce this thing to professionalism. If you are giving a contract to supply, there should be terms and conditions attached. I've exported out of this country. What are we talking about? If you export out of any country and it comes to another country, they will subject you to an international testing analysis, right? You will state clearly what are your terms and conditions. What are the qualities that you want to see? What are the grain size? What is the size of the sand distribution and everything thereof? Let it all be stated in the agreement. Let it be stated in the supply contract. And by the way, like everything is, you mentioned, oh, you give them contract and they will supply. What do you mean they will supply? If you want to import anything from China, will you not pay advance payment? That advance payment is what the Chinese company will take to the bank. When they see that 30%, it shows that there's a serious transaction that is going on, and the bank will now support the business to produce the goods and supply to you. We continue to distort the marketplace by not being professional. Let me put it this way. Nigerian Barite, or may I start with Shaibu, that made a categorical statement. There is no deposit. I'm telling him that we've done drilling. After the drilling, we did wireline logging. We did chemical analysis, and the result of it was analyzed, and the resource was indicated. And he's still carrying on the information that has been running since 20 years ago. We need to become more serious. Polyguard alone has over 20 million metric tons of barite. Alone. I'm saying it publicly. I want Nigerian Geological Agency to come and interrogate what I'm saying. This is how we're going to build up this country. We can't build up this country by being careless. Our carelessness is that we don't want to approach things from an international perspective. Barite is an international commodity. Nigerian market is a very limited market. And then when he said there's no drilling, how do we know there's no drilling? Which international body is interrogating your drilling operations? You are drilling in high sea. There should be data. If you are talking about barite availability data, the same data should come from the IOCs. What is the data of their operations? How do we know they are not drilling? In Saudi Arabia, you see through the dashboard a system that is working. Let's have the same transparency here in Nigeria, and let's see if we cannot do the business the right way. So let's not throw the baby with the bathwater. What we want to see, because anybody can be, throwing firebrand, making, comments. What I want here is solution. The solution is very simple. And that is why I'm saying that our government ought to be more responsible. Our ministry should actually be the one in the forefront of this. I've tried to engage the minister, and I'm saying, look, this is a low-hanging fruit. This one will make you shine, sir. In fact, it's no low-hanging fruit. It's a falling fruit. The fruit has fallen to the floor. We are begging the minister, please pick it up. How does this thing get picked up? Forget all this pickpocketing that we are hearing from the IOCs, right? What we do is very simple. We'll bring the IOCs to the table. We'll bring Nigerian Nigerian Content and Monitoring Board, Nigerian Local Content and Monitoring Board to the table. We'll bring NMPC, PCL to the table, and all the IOCs. If all of us go to the table, the oil servicing company, the processors, how can it be that the processor will be subjecting the miner? How? Where does that happen? The processor will be paying the miner. What do you mean? The processing is a very significant amount of barite value chain. I use the word advisedly, insignificant amount, because what is processing? You are reducing to a smaller size. Size reduction, when does that become a very complicated matter? To the extent that a processor will now go and get a contract and subject a miner that must do all the heavy pulling, resource quantification, community development, social aspect of it, governance structure. The miner must be able to do all this, including infrastructure, including logistics also, to be able to bring the raw material to the processor. I'm not that kind of miner. I'm going to process. I'm going to have the biggest processing plant, right? But you can't have it immediately. Even Rome, they told us it was not built in one day. So what we're saying here is that this is our national economy that is at stake. This barite alone, this year, we can turn over $1 billion. Take me up on this. So if we are now going to, we will start by interrogating the IOCs. What are your drilling plan for the next 3 years? Don't come and tell us, oh, there is a law in the industry. What is that? Tell us, what are your plans? How many rigs do you have? So some of us even went to school. We are not claiming anything, but we didn't go to high school. We can calculate. So we know that this is the quantum of barite you will need for XYZ number of time, so that we can plan this thing properly. I can't see how this thing will work without a proper standard contract. That is the number one, critical number one, standard contract. In that contract, all the terms and conditions of supply will be captured. The quality of the barite, the tolerance level in terms of grain size. If there are any impurities, you state the impurities you want to have control. State it properly so that we can go scientific on this. This is business. But because of the distortion, they'll come and throw us, they will bring in sand.
Patrick, I will stop you here. I will stop you here because I think I need to get, so that let it not be that you are dividing and you are ruling. I want to get something from Tayo and also Enoch. Enoch, I hope you are still there with us. Something very important. Yes, you know, what all of us are actually after here is a solution. We know there are various solutions, but Enoch, to the best of your knowledge, what do you think is a solution to this that can encourage local production and supply? Looking at all the whole priority, all the whole solution, can you prioritize at least one or two and say, this is what you think we need to do to go forward? And the same thing I want from Tayo also, before we actually close. Okay, I think you can talk now.
Okay, I hope I can talk now.
Yeah.
You can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
First of all, I will say, first of all, quality control. Our barites are good, but the processing, you know, the processing people we have in Nigeria I'm very sorry to call them processors, but they're just buyers that have milling machines. They buy from you, yeah, it's true. They're just buyers that have milling machines. They're not really processors because they do nothing. Qualcomm and I know all of them. Forget them. I've supplied. There are many of them that have my trucks. I have numbers of trucks that I've not been paid for since 2015. But I don't, forget all those. We have the experiences. So, but what we need is quality control, like what you did, Gideon. That is what the barite industry needs. We need systematic quality control. Patrick, you have to put it in your site too, because when your excavator packs that, look at that dump I saw in your pictures. That thing has to be washed before it's crushed. If you crush it like that, you will have problems. So that jig, shaking tables have to be on your site. A dryer before you take it to the mill, quality one. Number two, having that in place, advocacy. We need to go back to these oil companies and convince them that we've learned from our mistakes. Look, barite was banned in early 2000, in 2010, 2011. It was banned. The Ministry of Mines then had this mineral 24 designated minerals, and barite was one of them to be self-sufficient. So it's a government policy, but the industry couldn't pick it up. Even the president, Delta prospectors had links with the president then, Abacha. They wanted barite to come up, but it failed. You understand? So now with this recent findings, now then Kosovo was not in the picture. Even Benue was not in the picture. Everybody had the mind in Lafia and Zamfara. But now we have Benue coming on stream. We have many findings in Cross River, which is proving to be very, proximity is very close, and proximity is close, and the quality is good. So if the processing is in place, advocacy, then okay, now there are new findings, new like your data now and Mr. Patrick's data, other companies come up. We have findings. We can go to the ministry. We can go to the IOCs that we can guarantee supply of Barite. They will buy from you. It is as easy. They want to buy from Nigeria. It is. They have incentive to buy from Nigeria. Look, most of the drilling mud companies formerly were foreign companies, Barite and Barwell, Makoba, but now you have Hamilton, you have Atlantic Fleets, you have, name them, Ocean and Oils and all. They are local guys, and they have incentive buying from Nigeria. So that's the government policy, but we've not been able to meet up. Now with the people like with Mr. Patrick coming up and then Cross River, we can meet it up now. If we put the processing in place, remove this, just take out the sand.
Okay.
Take out the sand, dry your Barite and mill it.
Yes. Great, thank you. Thank you
so
for that contribution. I so much appreciate your contribution. Thank you so much. Tayo, please, I want your take on this.
Yes, thank you very much, Patrick, and everybody on the platform. Let me just say this. When there's a will, there's a way. I don't want to keep flogging the same issue. From all that has been said, it is not rocket science to mine and process Barite and meet local demand. When you have
it seems we've lost hello?